So Jan-Hein, thanks for coming. And I was interested in a couple of your cases. You had a couple of horses in the Nations Cup that had different outcomes. Can you tell me a little bit about those?
Yes, we do manage these horses that when they travel to a show where there's also a Nations Cup, and these Nations Cups are very important. It's like striving for the national team.
Yep.
When they arrive, we do test them and we monitor them when necessary. I had one horse that arrived at a show was a little bit dull. The first day when he arrived, had a little bit of a fever. We took SAA, was elevated about 160. Yeah. I didn't want to give him antibiotics yet because it was right after the shipping. Gave him fluids and vitamins. The next day he felt a lot better. The SAA had gone up a little bit. And in the morning, so I said, let's monitor him closely. It was an important horse for the 4th day Nations Cup.
Do you normally see an elevation on the second day?
Sometimes,
that
yes.
Doesn't bother you?
No, I'm looking for the curve. And so I took a second sample in the afternoon and it had leveled. It didn't go up further. And in the morning of the 3rd day, the tendency was going down.
Yeah.
So managing him further and observing also this curve further, he went more down on the 4th day, and we just put him in the Nations Cup and never gave him any antibiotics, although his SAA went up to 200, I think 260, something like that.
260.
Yeah.
Did you, the reason why antibiotics, you didn't just go to antibiotics, it's, there's different reasons in Germany and in Europe than there is in the United States.
Yes, well, the first reason, but that's not at the show. At the show, we decline the fact we do everything which is necessary. But antibiotics, if you give them to a show horse, it does make him a little more dull or slow. They do feel it. You feel that the horse is not as fresh and alert as when he is not under antibiotics, and he's fresh, of course. Right. Now, sometimes we do, like this other horse was doing really well until the day of the Nations Cup, and in the morning he was still good, and at lunchtime he was terrible. So he had a high fever and he had an SAA of also around 260. Now this horse, because he had to start that night, I gave antibiotics. I did treat him with fluids and everything, and at night I was the hero. The guy said, "You are great, you made him completely fit." Temperature was down, but we still took blood again and took SAA. It was over 600. And that horse, I decided to tell the coach, please don't put him in. It's the coach's decision, but I advised him not to have him start, and he did not have him start. And this horse got sick 2 days later. So it was, or sick again after the traveling. So I think it was a good thing to take him out.
Right. So both of these horses peaked out at about 260. I mean, your first evaluation, it was in the 200s.
Yeah.
One was a lot more sicker than the other one. Is that physical exam? Is that, how did you determine that the second horse was quote unquote really sick?
The second horse was just really depressed.
Yeah.
And time was an issue as well, so I had to be more aggressive. If I have 3 more days, I'm willing to observe a little more.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the trend, for the tendency. I'm looking for the curve and try to read what is happening. I try to read what is where we are in the disease, and for that I take multiple samples if necessary.
How quickly can you take the samples, or do you take the samples?
Oh, I will go up to every 4 hours.
Interesting.
There's some days where I take every 4 hours, like 4 times in one day.
So that's pretty interesting. So the take-home message for those 2 cases would be what, you think, Jan-Hein?
I think first of all, don't be afraid to take multiple samples, that you get a feel for where you are in the disease. Try to feel in the dynamic process where you are, and read the disease by multiple problems. And the second thing is, don't only look for the SAA. The SAA is one of the fantastic tools, but it's like an X-ray machine in a lameness. Right. Our eyes, our fingers, and our brain are number 1, and the SAA is one of the really helpful tools to guide you in that.
Great. Thank you very much.